Every season of Survivor is a story. There are main characters, sidekicks, comic reliefs, and villains. A good season of Survivor tells a compelling story. It will grip you and have you rooting for someone and against someone else. You will want to watch episode after episode to see what happens next until it all finishes with a hopefully satisfying conclusion. Each story that we look at together will go through one character's journey from beginning to end, from the time that they are introduced until they inevitably get their torch snuffed or win the game. We will look at every character moment and strategic move to determine whether they were a hero or a villain and whether they were a good or bad strategist. And with that, welcome to Once Upon an Island. For reference, we are only going to be observing what the TV show is showing us and what story is being told through the show. No future seasons will be mentioned, as the story and characters here have no idea about what happens in those future seasons. All character moments and strategic moves are interpreted with the mindset of what the story is trying to tell us. And before we start, I want to thank you for watching what I make and ultimately supporting what I do here with a liking, commenting, and sharing. For only a few bucks a month on Patreon, you can pick what videos I make, watch all this channel's content early, chat with other fans of the show, and even get exclusive videos every month. With that, let's jump into another epic story.
39 days, 18 people, 1 survivor.
Judd Sergeant was a castaway on Survivor's 11th season, Survivor Guatemala. This 34-year-old hotel doorman made his mark on the show by playing a likable, yet loud, and purposefully villainous game in a valiant attempt to win the $1 million. So, how did he fare? Let's find out. Survivor Guatemala begins in the Maya ruins in a fairly quick fashion by introducing us to the 16 castaways separated onto their 2 respective tribes. Those tribes are Yasha and Nakum. Jeff then talks to the new castaways saying, I bet you all didn't see this coming, but we have a surprise in store for you. Do you remember Bobby, John, and Stephanie from Survivor Palau? Well, they're making a comeback.
Each tribe will have one other tool to aid you in this game. Come on out.
Judd is on the Nakum tribe and he is joined by Bobby John, whereas Stephanie goes to Yasha. Jeff Probst then says, I have a real fun challenge to start the season with. How about we do an 11-mile hike and whoever wins gets the better camp? Okay, bye.
It is a grueling 11-mile race through the jungles of Guatemala. Survivors ready. Go!
Judd, as well as I imagine most everyone there, thinks this is insane, and for him it's especially insane since he isn't some seasoned pro in the wilderness.
Here I come, baby. Coming full force at ya.
11 miles in the jungle is absolutely insane. I mean, you're just sitting there fighting things, coming down and just getting to where you want to go. I'm just a freaking doorman from New York, man. I never even went camping.
Along the way on this 24-hour expedition, multiple people get hurt, like Blake with a tree falling on him, Bobby John cramping up from overworking himself, and along the way, Judd gets stuck in some mud because he jumped out of the tribe's boat way too early.
Get up there, Judd, pull us up.
We get to the dock, and old Judd jumps out of the boat. He had a premature evacuation.
It's hard to get out of, man.
So is the sacrifice worth it? Did Nakum deal all these physical blows for naught? Well, as it turns out...
Welcome, Nakum. Congratulations. Nicely done, guys.
Thankfully, they won the better camp, but at what cost? Every single male on their tribe overworked themselves or got injured on the hike. Margaret ends up nursing all of them and taking care of them. And the next day, they have an immunity challenge, and it looks fairly physical. Basically, they have to paddle out, retrieve a flag, and then come back, and then manually pull their boat onto dry land. Along the way, Jim, the older man on their tribe, injures his arm pretty bad, but who wins?
Lydia's got to light the fire.
Despite that loss, it is clear that Jim is getting voted out since, as I said before, he is the older guy and his arm now needs to be in a sling. Despite that, we see Judd connecting with Brooke while also giving himself a new nickname after now living in Guatemala for 3 days.
Yeah, I'm really starting to adapt to this jungle. Jungle Judd. What about you?
Oh yeah.
You enjoying the jungle life?
I'm doing good. Oh, I'm surprised. I felt all right after the 11 miles.
At Tribal Council, Jeff asks a very simple question about whether the tribe should be concerned over him being overworked after the hike, and he overreacts with,
I mean, I got right over it. I puked and I got up and I went and did what I had to do, man.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I'm ready to do a backflip if you want me to. I mean, I feel great.
But as mentioned before, this is an overreaction because Judd's worrying over nothing. Jim is clearly going to be voted out, and that's exactly what happens in an 8-1 vote.
Jim, Trapper spoken.
So that was the premiere of Survivor Guatemala, and yet despite the excessive amount of time we spent on the hike, challenge, and tribal council, not many players were given a spotlight, but Judd was. We see Judd being a character at almost every step of the way, and this can only mean one thing. He will be a major character in the main story for as long as he is around. From when he tells us he is a doorman, to him jumping out of the boat and getting stuck in the mud, to his self-proclaimed title of Jungle Judd, to overreacting to Jeff's simple question, this is amazing. If this is only episode 1, then we're in for a treat. Episode 2, while a bit more quiet for Judd, is actually pretty revealing about who he is as a person. Not everyone gets this, but we will be getting lots of character depth with Judd this season. If these first 2 episodes are any indication, as his tribe Nakum wins reward due to Blake getting the game-winning point. But back at camp, Blake resumes his, oh, I don't feel so good, I'm gonna lie around all day act that really gets under Judd's skin, because he thinks that if he laid around all day like Blake, he would be the hero in challenges and not Blake.
Every time I turn around, that's all I hear. Sit down, relax, get some water. Sit down, relax, get some water. And I'm saying to myself, damn, how much more relaxing does this dude need, man? I want to be the hero next challenge or next immunity. You know, I'm gonna be the hero.
So at the immunity challenge, it's a tug of war between the tribes that ultimately ends in a draw after 5 minutes. So Jeff says, time to do one-on-one tug of war challenges. Judd wins his first bout after a long and strenuous battle, but the key is that now it is his chance to be the hero. He can get the game-winning point and secure immunity for his tribe. So what happens?
2, 1, this challenge is over. Nakum wins immunity.
Take that, Blake. I bet you didn't even know that Judd was your rival. Episode 3 kicks off with some howling monkeys, which apparently have been keeping Judd from getting some sound sleep. Cindy tries to explain that they are howling for a good reason, but Judd doesn't care.
Got all this loose skin in their throat and it gets all big, like a bowling ball, and they let the air out and it makes that crazy noise.
It's absolutely miserable. It just goes on. And then we got like a zookeeper here, Cindy. She's like almost like a Dr. Doolittle. The monkey's lost and he's looking for the brother that's all the way across the other side of the jungle. And I'm like, dude. At
the reward challenge, Nakum wins, making Stephanie mad and causing a great excitement with Bobby John and Judd.
Nakum wins reward.
Back at camp, Margaret has gone from the kind caretaker to a nuisance as she tries to mom every situation and makes things that should be fun not fun at all. This shared annoyance causes Judd to connect with Bobby John, but then we hear from him about who and who cannot tell him what to do. Really lacking humility, but still very funny.
Margaret just comes in, we need this, we need that, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Come on, man. Nobody's gonna tell me what to do. Only the people tell me what to do is my boss and my wife, that's it.
Nakum goes on to win immunity, so in episode 4, a different kind of reward challenge takes place. The tribes are voting for things, like who is in the most need of food, who is the smelliest, and even
Which man and which woman most deserves a picnic afternoon atop an ancient Maya pyramid. We have Margaret. For the men, it looks like it is Judd.
Thank you, man.
Voting for him to get that picnic clearly shows that his tribe must like him. While on that picnic lunch with a beautiful view, it gets brought up to Gary, a member of Yasha, that Danny on Nakum said that he was an ex-NFL quarterback, which Gary denies some more, but he actually is and doesn't want anyone to know.
And you're an ex-football player?
No.
Oh.
I'm a landscaper. You know, Danny said something to Brian or something about. He thought you looked familiar. I wish I was.
After that picnic lunch, Judd returns back to camp to a big surprise. A tribe swap took place while he was gone, and the new Nakum is now only half of the old members and half new members. They are deadlocked 4-4. But Judd's like, whatever, now I can be the big man on campus.
But honestly, when I first saw these people back at camp, I was just like, whatever. Who cares? Now over here, man, I know I'm the big gun around here, man. I know it. You feel like you're King Kong, man. Feeling good, baby.
Now, the first 3 episodes so far seemed almost devoid of any alliances being formed, at least from what we saw. But now, all of a sudden, we're seeing alliances being made on screen, and this must mean that they are important to the story. As right away, we see Judd flipping to the old Yasha members and making connections with them.
I mean, I can see you guys. I'm kind of more personable already with you than I am with with any of the girls that I was on my team with.
Well, I'm obviously sticking with you because you gotta stick with the strongest.
Nakum goes on to lose immunity, and back at camp, Judd is in a real conundrum, but not really. On one side, he has Margaret saying, stick with the old Nakum and make it a tie. Also, remember that you hate me. Whereas Stephanie's like, join the Asha and we can be the majority. Plus, we're both from Jersey, so we got that going for us. He acts conflicted, but I mean, come on, man. This is a turning point in the story for Judd. So far, not one villainous moment to be seen, but that is all about to change as at Tribal Council, Judd obviously flips and helps vote out Brooke in a 5-3 vote.
Brooke, the tribe has spoken. It's time to go.
Episode 5 begins, and this is a turning point in Judd's story. Just notice how from here on out, we go from hero to not a hero. As his feud with Margaret really begins, she labels him a traitor, and Judd's like, whatever, man, you're next.
Judd flipped the very first day the new tribe came to be, and he didn't bother to look back. He's a traitor.
Margaret, she's probably not too happy with it, but I really don't care whether she's happy or not. I can't wait till she goes too.
At the reward challenge, they are blown out of the water since Brandon was an expert on how to cut the rope and Jamie was super slow. It isn't even close. Back at camp, Cindy said she knew the technique that Brandon used, but didn't think she had the upper body strength to do it as well. Judd says, hey, if you know how to do something, then speak up and do it. They both make valid points, but Judd is the one painted in a bad light here.
Seen Brandon cut that rope up here at camp too. I knew exactly what he was doing.
By all means, if you and Margaret ever want to step up to the plate, man, be my guest, man. You step up to the damn plate and you do what you got to do and get one of us out of the spotlight.
So it made me really mad. Some of these people are just going out of their way to irritate the other one. And I just don't think that's a very smart thing.
Thankfully, Nakum goes on to win immunity, so we move on to episode 6 where Jeff says, you know what time of the season it is, right? That's right, neither tribe is getting immunity because both tribes are going to tribal council. However, the tribe who wins reward will also get to compete for individual immunity. Judd really embraces being the hero as he scores every single point for Nakum and wins reward.
And they have it! Nakum wins a barbecue feast and a shot at individual immunity.
At the individual immunity challenge, Judd sneakily pulls off a smart move. I'll show you what he does and then I'll explain it.
Ancient ruin, ancient ruin, ancient ruin.
Rafe has it first. Ancient ruin. Rafe wins immunity. I had it. Next time I gotta keep my mouth shut, man.
So it seems like here that Judd slips up and says the answer out loud on accident, but this is not the case at all. As we have sort of learned so far, and will definitely learn later, Judd is a terrible liar. He is very easy to read, and if he was actually frustrated for giving away the win to Rafe, his actions wouldn't represent someone who is gleeful. It seems much more likely based on circumstantial evidence that he did this on purpose, but wants it to appear to be an accident to make sure a particular someone wasn't safe. Anyways, part of the reward was that they all win 2 beers each along with food. However, Judd doesn't adhere to this rule and drinks more than he is supposed to. Then someone wonders out loud, what the heck, where did the extra beers go to? To which Judd acts like, whoever committed this heinous crime will pay.
Who's hiding the beer, man?
Someone must have just accidentally drank another one.
Yeah,
We're never gonna figure it out.
Whoever drank the beer is going home tonight. I felt like I freaking deserved it anyway. If I took an extra beer, you wouldn't be eating this damn hot dog, man, and this cheeseburger if it wasn't for me. I don't understand this whole beer thing. How are we not...
I don't either.
It just doesn't make any sense. Hey, you know what? Everybody can kiss my ass. And I hope you enjoyed your hot dog and your hamburger today.
Judd is hilarious. We then proceed to Tribal Council where the most beautiful set of sequences plays out. Seriously, watch season 11, episode 6, Nakum's Tribal Council in full. It's a must. It starts off with Margaret saying something very astute. She points out that Judd is loud and doesn't control his emotions very well, to which he replies with,
sometimes you have to learn to control your emotions when you're on the ball field.
I mean, it's not like we're being bad sportsmanships at all. We just go out there and we give it 120 damn %, man. Whatever it takes, we'll give it. And that's what I did today, and everybody ate good, so no matter what I do, man, I'm giving it my damn all, man. We'll drive that ball all the way damn downfield until we score a touchdown, man.
Judd.
You know what? You probably never played a damn sport in your life anyway, so you don't even know what it's like, man. So, you know, you should just shut up.
Then Margaret says that Judd only listens to one person, himself, and no one else. So now Judd is on a warpath to prove her wrong, and he does this by asking everyone if he listens to them, and then cuts them all off as they answer.
Do I listen to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, Stephanie, when you talk to me, do I listen to you? Do I listen to you? Do I listen to you? There you go.
But it only gets worse for Judd. but funnier for us, as Judd then tells a story about the day he met Margaret and claims that she did something that we never saw whatsoever.
When I first walked into camp, she's telling me that I have ADD. She comes to camp, you have ADD, do you know that? When you first meet somebody, is that something nice to say? Is that a compliment? I have ADD?
The other problem with Judd is he has a problem with recall.
Seriously, do yourself a favor and watch this tribal council in full. You will thank me. Then come back to this video. Anyways, Judd goes to vote, and who does he vote for?
Hey, Margaret, if you leave this jungle now, it ain't soon enough, man. Get out now.
Judd, you're a bully, you're self-righteous, you're rude, you're profane. No one like you deserves $1 million.
And the truth of why he made sure Rafe got immunity and not someone else is revealed, as Margaret is voted out in a 6-1 vote.
Margaret, the tribe has spoken.
With Margaret gone, now no one can claim Judd is a bad sportsmanship. Episode 7 sees Judd rejoicing over this fact, and man, he is going to be laughing to the bank while Margaret will be going home doing what now?
Hopefully I'll be laughing my ass to the bank and she'll still be at home making chicken wings or something.
We then hear from Jamie something strategically interesting. He sees Judd as a goat to bring to the end of the game. Great! Getting to the end of the game is step 1 of how to win Survivor. Sit next to the right person and surely Judd can pull off the win. Just don't ask him about whether he is a good sportsmanship or not.
Thing is with Judd, he has a big voice, you know, and he's a big guy, so that scares a lot of people, but it doesn't make me nervous. If anything, it makes me want to keep Judd closer because I could take him to the final and then I'd have all the votes and Judd wouldn't have any.
The rest of this episode is fairly uneventful for Judd as his tribe loses reward, has a pool party with Yasha because it's Danny's birthday, her story video will cover that in depth, and his tribe wins immunity. So we move on to episode 8 where, surprise, it's a merge.
We have some new buffs for you.
Merge, baby, merge.
Right away, it's good that the alliance he is in is up 6-4 over the old Yasha tribe. However, Danny says that this really sucks because her and the old Yasha feel very unwelcome by the old Nakum, which is Judd's alliance.
Nakum, like when we came over, I didn't think they were that warm and friendly. You feel like an outsider.
It's like we're at war, man. We're prisoners. We have to do all their bitch work and they get to raid all our resources.
Then a new twist takes place in the game of Survivor. Somewhere in their camp is a hidden immunity idol, and it basically serves as an immunity necklace you can play at any time up to the final 4. Play it before the votes are cast and you are safe. This could be the saving grace for many players and causes everyone to go look for it.
If you're feeling bored around camp or could use some peace of mind in this game, there's a small individual immunity idol hidden in the wood. This is in addition to any individual immunity you win at challenges. It is about 6 inches tall and is made of stone.
What?
We then learn that the boot order is going to be Brandon, Bobby John, and then Danny. Gary isn't explicitly mentioned, but it is assumed he would go after Danny. Not a bad plan.
Make sure we got it. So Brandon. Hey, is that what we said?
Brandon, Bobby John, then Danny.
Right.
At the immunity challenge, Gary wins it, and step 1 of their plan is implemented as Brandon is voted out in a 6-4 vote.
Brandon, the tribe has spoken.
Episode 9 begins with a reward challenge that has everyone throwing a spear at a target. Whoever gets the closest wins, which Judd actually does pull off, and he gets an awesome meal of steak, lobster, and unlimited alcohol.
Good looking top.
Wow. Nice throw, Judd.
Jamie doesn't knock Judd out.
Go, Judd. You deserve it, man.
He is then given the chance to pick 2 people to join him on the reward, and he chooses Stephanie and Bobby John. And oh, did I mention he also gets the only clue so far to the hidden immunity idol?
Bar is open. Dessert when you're ready for it. One last thing for you and you only. A clue to the hidden immunity idol.
However, Gary gets very jealous about how much they are feasting and paints them as evil for enjoying their time while everyone watches.
It was 2 hours of watching them gorge themselves and get drunk. That's just not my idea of fun.
Back at camp, Judd is drunk, and while he is hammered, he goes on a series of adventures, like telling Bobby John that he loves him like a fat kid loves cake, trying to move a 30-foot tree thinking it's just a stump, and then of course the classic maneuver, throwing up in the shelter and then denying it. It's a series of fortunate events for us and unfortunate events for everyone else.
You got sick, didn't you, last night? That was you.
You threw up in the shelter?
No, I got up and I went over there in the ruins somewhere, man.
No, you threw up right next to me.
You threw up right, right in the
You threw up right next to the wall.
That's all a blur to me, man.
Judd then goes on to read the clue, which he also tells Stephanie about. She feels honored, and this of course helps these two bond together more, but then we learn something about Judd that will be crucial going forward.
It's not buried or concealed, nor directly on the ground.
Could be like in a tree.
So now that Judd and Stephanie know the clue, absolutely no one expects him to share it with them, but Judd, being the kind gentleman he is, says, "Hey man, I want to tell you all what the clue really says, man, so you can feel like I'm your friend, man."
When it comes to keeping the secret, man, I can't do it. Tree mail I got in my pocket, man, that thing is definitely by far on the ground, so to speak. I don't have a problem lying to the other guys at all. That's what the game's about, man.
People believe him. Wow. Gary tries flipping the majority as well, but somehow through crazy miscommunication, and this is very important, Jamie hears what Gary is saying to him as Gary is targeting Jamie, and that's the opposite of what Gary is saying. Gary is saying, "I want to align with you, Jamie."
I will vote with you today. Okay. I mean, I have to.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, I mean, if I don't, I'm dead.
You told me something against me. You know, he just won't move, and he's voting against me.
That's interesting.
And now Jamie is making Gary target number 1 instead of Bobby John. Jamie goes on to win individual immunity so that Gary can be voted out. Right before tribal, Judd goes out to look for the idol man, and someone is also spying on him while doing so.
I think it's pretty amazing that Judd told everybody the clue that it's on the ground. I followed him back here and he's looking in the trees.
Now Judd has been busted for lying to almost everyone. Not great. At Tribal Council, Jeff asked both Gary and Judd if they have lied, and the irony is so thick as both Gary and Judd say no, and they are possibly two of the biggest liars in this game.
You lied in this game?
No, sir, not yet. You know, it might happen, but as of this point in the game, no, I haven't lied about anything yet.
It is time to vote, but then a surprise emerges that changes everything, is when Jeff asks if anyone wants to play an idol.
If anybody has found the immunity idol and wants to use it tonight, now's the time to bring it up.
Oh my God, Gary.
Oh man, good job, Gary.
I knew it.
Gary is immune, so everyone resorts back to plan B, and Bobby John is voted out in a 6-2 to 1 vote.
Bobby John, job spoken.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
See ya.
Hang in there.
Episode 10 starts with Jamie wanting to fight Gary, and Judd is actually very successful at calming Jamie down.
I don't think he's mad either, Jen. I don't know.
I'm just gonna
it just seems like you're starting instigating.
Just dropping.
All right, good, man. That's what I want you to do, man.
He then goes on to be a part of the team that wins reward, which is an overnight stay at some guy's massive mansion in Guatemala. While there, everyone gets to finally have a proper shower out by the pool, and Judd takes this opportunity to do something interesting, and everyone laughs.
I'm just taking all my clothes off.
Really?
Everything. Yep.
What are you doing, Judd?
It's all right. It's coming off.
The next morning, they are all surprised with their tapes from home, which Judd just goes ballistic for and tells us that this is better than some of the best foods he could eat.
My wife, my daughter, my mom. Better than steak and eggs any morning, man.
Back at camp, Judd is worried that Jamie might flip out upon his returning because Jamie is constantly paranoid that everyone will flip on him, so Judd expertly navigates this landmine by lying.
Yeah, it was cool.
Cool. Any strategy talk or everybody kept it
No,
cool?
not at all, dude. Not even a peep. I swear to you, you know I wouldn't lie to you.
I don't know, bud.
At the immunity challenge, Rafe wins, and at Tribal Council, it looks like Gary will be going next. And when Jeff asks Judd if him and Gary bond, the answer is not as important as how many times he's able to squeeze the word man into one sentence. Go ahead and count.
Oh, man. Gary, to me, is just an amazing person, man. He's somebody that you want to look up to, man. And I kind of keep my cool when he's around. You know, I try to be a man myself, but sometimes I feel like I'm a little kid at times. But Gary, man, he's a man's man. I got to give it to him, man.
As Jeff goes to reveal the votes, Jamie is blindsided in a 6-2 vote that Judd had no idea about.
Jamie, tribe spoken.
Blindsided. Nice! Now that's how you vote somebody out.
Episode 11 has Judd back at camp in shock, but trying to play it off like he isn't really mad about it, so much so that he begins to talk about himself in the third person.
I looked the city, I was like, oh, fuck no.
Because Judd doesn't even feel bad whatsoever. I'm telling you.
I can tell that you're like okay with it.
I don't feel bad at all.
The next morning, Judd wakes up to discover something sketchy is going on. He can clearly see that Gary is trying to extract information from Lydia and sees this as a golden opportunity to paint Gary as the target again. However, Rafe sees this as Judd really being insecure, but it does seem to work.
I can't believe how hard he is working. I know. He can't get the next immunity. I don't even want him to get the reward.
Then at the immunity challenge, Rafe wins, and back at camp we hear from Lydia about how she feels like she is disposable and is now being discarded by the foursome of Stephanie, Rafe, Cindy, and Judd. They are making her feel unimportant, which is going to cause her to flip.
I thought to myself, I was loyal to you. I was right there with everything that you wanted me to do. And now all of a sudden, you guys don't need me anymore.
Then while Gary scrambles to save his life in this game, he talks to Rafe, who reveals that actually he doesn't really trust Judd. Not great from a member in your own alliance.
So I feel totally comfortable with you and family. Yeah. I don't really trust you.
Then at Tribal Council, again, Judd claims, yeah man, I ain't never lied, but he plans on starting real soon. Not something wise to say to those around you who are working with you. However, he gets called out and exposed, and it ain't pretty, but it's funny.
This is a lie. Hey, you guys, the idol is on the ground.
Okay, all right, I lied about the damn idol. Okay. Told you I'm a bad liar.
It is now time to vote, so who does Judd vote for?
Gary, you've been running around the jungle for 2 days, man, like a squirrel trying to get a damn nut, man. Do me a favor, get the hell out of here.
Then the votes are revealed, and thankfully, Gary is swept away in a 6-1 vote.
Gary, tribe spoken. Time for you to go.
Next on the chopping block is Danny, and from there, the world is Judd's oyster. He just has to get Danny out next. Episode 12 begins and Lydia swears up and down that she was smelling sausage and eggs last night, and Judd actually has an explanation for this.
I smelled sausage and eggs. I really did.
Well, if you smell bacon and eggs or sausage and eggs, man, it's probably Steph farting again, so that could be a little bit of a problem.
No, I went to the bathroom.
The reward challenge is actually not a challenge, but the wonderful, beautiful Survivor auction. And the last item, it's a real doozy. They get to bid on the family visit, and Judd and Cindy pool their money together and...
Judd has bought his loved one $880.
He then gets to pick 2 people to join him, so he picks Cindy for obvious reasons, and Stephanie since he says she is his Jersey girl. They then take their loved ones back to camp, and Judd's wife is blown away, man. She is starting to think a little bit differently about him now.
Judd, you learned how to make fire?
I'm like the Iron Man.
No way!
My wife was pretty shocked, man, at my camping skills. I think she was digging it. She thought it was pretty hot. She thought I was a sexy camper.
Back with the other 3 who didn't get to see their own family, Danny starts weaseling her way in and devises a plan with Rafe to catch Judd in a lie so they can get Stephanie to flip on him and vote him out. Not good, man.
Judd's the only one that I feel is like ready to break.
Yeah, he's,
you know?
Yeah, he's a threat. He's definitely a threat.
We just need to catch Judd in some kind of lie.
However, him and Cindy make a deal to vote out Danny next, but if she wins immunity for some reason, then it will be Lydia instead. Little does he know that he needs Lydia, but then as the family goes to depart from their luxurious stay in the 114-degree Guatemalan weather, Judd reveals that looking at his wife is like eating fast food.
It felt great having my wife here at camp. I haven't been eating, so I feel like she actually made me full just by looking at her. It's like eating 25 White Castle cheeseburgers, man.
I've missed Judd so much. The longest I never spoke to him was for like 24 hours. I just can't wait for him to come home.
At the immunity challenge, with the advantage she bought at the auction, Danny wins immunity. And back at camp, Lydia talks to Judd to try and save herself since she knows that she is on the chopping block. Danny is right there listening as Lydia says, we need to vote out threats, and he says, yeah man, we do. The key here is that he didn't actually agree to anything specific, and he didn't say who these threats were. The threats in his mind could be Lydia. However, Danny then takes what she heard, spins it to Stephanie by painting him as a man who was going to flip on Stephanie.
He was mad about the Jamie situation. Still, you felt betrayed. Looks like you think I don't know who's in control. He acts like he doesn't, but he knows what he's doing, right? Oh, totally.
Unfortunately, Danny's plan works, and Stephanie comes up with a brand new plan that she was tricked into doing of getting rid of Judd that Rafe agrees to and smartly doesn't act like he came up with himself. Masterful work by him and Danny.
Now she's kind of thinking maybe we might vote Judd out tonight. So hopefully my plan will work to rat Judd out.
At Tribal Council, it happens. Judd is voted out 4-2 with only Cindy sticking with him, and his reaction is glorious.
Thanks, guys. Hope you guys all get bit by a freaking crocodile. Scumbags.
Judd, tribe has spoken.
Scumbags.
So let's break this down. How is Judd Sergeant as a character? There are so many words I could use. I could say he was a good sportsmanship, King Kong, Jungle Judd, destroyer of White Castle hamburgers, love saying man, you know man, using mild curse words to emphasize his points, being loud, lying constantly, sometimes for no good reason whatsoever, but best of all, he was hilarious and a joy to have on screen. I don't think a return of Judd to Survivor ever could reach the heights of this iteration, but man, I love me some Judd in Guatemala. I really think his final words after he gets voted out just sums this up so beautifully, man.
It doesn't feel good being blindsided, and it sucks being lied to, man, because the one thing I didn't do was lie to anybody, man. But hey, get rid of the biggest target, and that's what they did, man. So I really believe that you're all a bunch of scumbags, and I can't wait till the final two, man. I'll have a lot more to say than that, man.
As a fun fact, Judd said the word man over 250 times from what I could count on television. Go ahead and count yourself. It only makes me wonder how many times he actually said it over the 33 days he was there. Out of 32 character moments shown on the show, 13 were heroic and 19 were villainous, making Judd Sergeant a villainous character on Survivor Guatemala. Now, how was Judd Sergeant as a strategist? Actually pretty good and potentially great if he had scaled back on the lying and stuck to what he was good at, which was being personable and a fun person to be around. We see him getting along with others fairly easily, minus Margaret, and he had people wanting to bring him to the end like Stephanie and Jamie. Unfortunately, Judd didn't recognize his own weakness, and once the tribe swap happened in episode 4, his game slowly started sinking despite the smart flip on his old Nakum tribe. All in all, he had great natural attributes, but his loud persona combined with his bad lying caught up to him and had him voted out sooner than his max potential would have led him. Out of 33 strategic moments shown on the show, 21 were smart and 12 were dumb, making Judd Sergeant a smart strategist on Survivor Guatemala. Thanks for watching, and if you like the content you see here, then please consider supporting me and this channel on Patreon. Your financial support makes this channel possible, so thank you, and thank you for watching.